Cowboys training camp news is made possible by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping on all of their men's grooming products, from the beard hedger to the lawnmower 4.0, by using promo code Cowboys over at manscaped.com. Coming up on today's show, significant Cowboys injury news, including, but certainly not limited to, the Donovan Wilson situation. We'll look at Tony Pollard's status, thumbs up there. Terence Steele, thumbs up on the injury, maybe not so much for the contract. Plus some more Cowboys training camp takeaways. And as a reminder, if you aren't already subscribed, now is the time to do so. Get more free Cowboys training camp updates all throughout the back end of July, August, and of course into the preseason. We'll be doing watch parties as well, so make sure you guys are subscribed. Donovan Wilson, it's always something going on with the Cowboys, right? First day of practice, they got Dak throwing a pick because receivers can't catch, and more importantly, Donovan Wilson leaving practice with an undisclosed injury. Jane Slater reports x-rays on the calf. No one seemed to really see what happened. All of a sudden, Wilson comes up limping. He eventually gets carted off. A nice photo here from Todd Archer with Wilson getting on the cart, going in the front. Maybe a good thing. I don't know. Who knows? Not a lot of information at this stage. We will certainly monitor and keep our fingers crossed that Wilson is okay. The Cowboys just paid him this offseason after he led the team in tackles, had a fantastic and impressive season for Dallas. He was good. He was really good. He's part of that three-headed monster for Dallas at safety. Jourdan Lewis, Donovan Wilson, and Malik Hooker. So not much information. We'll update you guys if we get more. Fingers crossed, it's nothing at all to be worried about. Much like, Jourdan Lewis got hurt last year, but he was fine in the end early on in camp. A couple more injury notes. These came out yesterday, but we didn't really get to talk about them because of all the chaos from yesterday's 4-video day. Luke Schoonmaker, placed on the non-football injury list due to plantar fascia. He was battling that during minicamp/OTAs. I was like, he's going to be fine for camp. Well, he's not. He's not out there right now. And unfortunately, this is not how you want to begin your career. Now, long-term, it'll be fine. Tight ends often have a longer adjustment period. That's why their second contracts tend to work out a bit better sometimes than the running backs. But you spend a second-round pick on the guy with hope he can make an impact for you, and I'm getting visions of, maybe it's just my trauma speaking, of Jalen Tolbert being a bit behind early on in camp and never quite acclimating. So hopefully he's back soon, but for now, I am putting Jake Ferguson in there at the tight end 1 spot because Schoonmaker being out does benefit Ferguson as the leading incumbent from that perspective. Look, Luke Schoonmaker was not a big-time impact piece for the Dallas Cowboys, or for Michigan, excuse me. He was a good blocker, asked to do a lot of tough blocking assignments, by the way, but never was really that involved in the passing game. Cowboys liked him a lot. He's a really good athlete. You're hoping to get better results than what we've gotten in the mini-camp OTA period. So hopefully, short-term NFL-less stint for Schoonmaker. Now, what is your concern level over the early injuries for the Cowboys, namely Donovan Wilson and Luke Schoonmaker? We'll get to Jourdan Lewis, but we knew that going into today. Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Hit the pin comment. If the ad comes here on YouTube, go take advantage and vote right now. We talked a lot about this one on previous shows. We had fully expected Jourdan Lewis to not be available to begin training camp, and that is the case. He opened up camp on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list due to that foot injury. So with Lewis out, your first team corners are, I think, pretty clearly this order. It's Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Gilmore, Deron Bland. The the backup corners then are Nashawn Wright, Eric Scott, Israel Mukuamu. Maybe Mukuamu getting more run at pure safety, by the way, with Donovan Wilson banged up. That would then get Kelvin Joseph up a notch at the nickel corner spot. TJ Goodwin's a special teamer, Brooks, Mandel, Butler, etc. That's where the Cowboys sit. So Lewis, worth monitoring when he's able to get healthy. I don't believe there are any injury guarantees on his contract. Soon he gets back to better. Cowboys saw how much depth matters last year. But got to be healthy to be able to contribute. Let's talk Tony Pollard now. Good news, Pollard practiced today as expected. From all the different training camp clips that I'm sure we've all been watching because we're just addicted. Looked pretty good. He'll be ramped up during this current phase. It's the non-pads bit of practice where not any contact. You can go a bit lighter and kind of work your way up for the first couple practices for the Cowboys. Here's what Pollard told 105.3 The Fan before today's practice. I'm feeling pretty good right now. Pretty much at 100%. At this point, it's just on me and the trainers communicating, being smart, not rushing anything, not getting out there and going full speed too early, just easing back into it. I am not, and I have not been worried about Tony Pollard. The injury was never as severe as I think some maybe tried to make it out to be for whatever reason, ignorance or having an ulterior motive. Fractured leg, healed on its own, tightrope ankle procedure. You want to make sure he's healthy. You're not going to rush him back, but I'm not too concerned about Tony Pollard's injury status moving forward. Today's Cowboys Report is made possible by Manscaped. Time to tame your mane and say goodbye to all your stubble trouble with Manscaped's Beard Hedger Pro Kit. It starts with the Beard Hedger. This cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard, so no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. And it's waterproof, so you can shave in the shower and avoid that hair in the sink, which is a big deal for my wife. It also comes with beard shampoo and conditioner, because remember, all your hair is different. Your beard hair is a bit more coarse and easier to damage than the hair on your head, so you should be utilizing specialized products. There's beard oil to help relieve dryness on both the beard and the skin beneath, adding a little bit of shimmer and shine. Beard balm as well, and 3 free gifts: beard brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress. Get 20% off and free shipping on the Beard Hedger and the Below the Waist grooming products as well over at manscaped.com when you use promo code Cowboys. Let's talk Terence Steele here for a little bit. Steele avoided the PUP list this season, which is a very big deal for the Cowboys. Michael Gallup couldn't do that last year. Similar-ish time frames on the injury. You might be able to argue Steele's was a bit of a worse injury or whatever, but this is good news for Dallas. So the Cowboys' offensive line, when healthy, will look like this. It was Tyron Smith at left tackle, Tyler Smith at left guard today, Tyler Biadasz, Josh Ball in for Zach Martin, and Terence Steele on the right side. They did rotate in some Matt Waletko again to kind of keep Terence on a pitch count. But I think maybe the bigger development, since we told you guys Steele was ahead of a schedule on his injury, is what happened in Houston early this morning. Titus Howard, the Texans' right tackle, got a shockingly large contract, a 3-year, $56 million deal, which only 3 years, you go that short, and you acquire $18.66 million per year. That is an incredible contract for Titus Howard. That is a bag and a half. $36.5 million guaranteed. That's kind of a good comparison for Terence Steele. Think I might know the answers here, but would you give Terence Steele that exact contract right now? I'm willing to bet Steele's agency is like, hey, let's do that deal, because it makes a lot of sense. We'll spend some more time on this, but I want to hear your thoughts. Why for yes and for no, would you do it? Here's the big issue you run into. That is a lot of money. I fully expect sticker shock, because I had sticker shock when I saw it. Terence Steele, my friends, is a better football player than Titus Howard. He allowed 1 sack last year. Howard allowed 3. He allowed 4 hits. Howard allowed 5. Now, it came on about 180 fewer snaps, but he also had half as many hurries allowed and was a vastly better run blocker. We can blame the quarterback some for Howard and give the quarterback credit in Dallas for avoiding some sacks, hits, etc., but the hurries don't really change that much. The right tackle market is expensive because offensive line play is bad in the NFL, and teams are desperately trying to find good players. Titus Howard is now a top 5 highest paid tackle in the NFL, which kind of blows my mind. Caleb McGarry didn't get that much from the Falcons. You're talking about an $11.5 million deal for a breakout player in McGarry and an $18.6 million deal for Titus Howard. That's $7 million per year of difference. McGlinchey near Howard's side at $17.5 with the Broncos. That Terence Steele deal, if you want to pay him, I think just got a little bit more complicated if he really pushes for Tytus Howard money, because that's a lot, man. By the way, the franchise tag is now available because the Cowboys have gotten a long-term deal done with Trayvon Diggs. It's also projected to cost $23.8 million right now. So that's not really what you want to do either. We'll see about Terence Steele. Maybe with the injury, it's a little bit more team-friendly. I think $15 million. If you get him for that, $3 million less and change than Tytus Howard, that's the Cowboys winning the deal, so to speak. Some other Cowboys takeaways from training camp. We'll do some more in-depth stuff on this once to get some more practices under our belts. It happened again. Dak Prescott throws a pass. Simi Fehoko, they ran the slant flat concept. You'll see a ton of that this year. Hitches canceled. Slant flat, new best friend. Hits Simi Fehoko right here, and he drops it. And Eric Scott ends up picking it off. And I'm sure someone somewhere will blame Dak somehow. Also worth mentioning, Waletko, Josh Ball got some good work on the right side of the offensive line. Josh Ball, the starter with Zach Martin out. As a reminder, that's a horrible idea. Please don't play Josh Ball real snaps. Get back Zach Martin sooner than later. One more positive note. KaVontae Turpin not at practice today, and for a pretty good human reason. Out because of the birth of his child. So that's a very good reason to miss day one of training camp. I'm glad Turpin was there. Everyone type congrats in the comment section for Turpin and his family. That's a very fun moment there. He'll be back soon enough for Cowboys camp as he has the birth of his kid.